I must say hello to everyone. Today I am broadcasting a special program, uh, Why India Attacked Pakistan. Now, in this video, the world will hear and they will see the truth. Why India attacked Pakistan. Please don't forget to press the subscribe button to show your appreciation to this channel. Thank you.
The visuals you see are from Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. These are sites India struck during Operation Sindhu. In the early hours of May 7, the Indian Army and the Air Force launched precise airstrikes on 9 terror camps across the border.
Over the last 3 decades, Pakistan has systematically built terror infrastructure. It is a complex web of recruitment and indoctrination centers, training areas for initial and refresher courses, and launch pads for handlers. These camps are located both in Pakistan as well as Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir areas. The selection of these targets for Operation Sindoor was based on credible intelligence inputs and role of these facilities in perpetrating the terror activities. The locations were so selected to avoid damage to civilian infrastructures and loss of any civilian lives.
This action came as a direct response to the deadly terrorist attack on April 22 in Jammu and Kashmir. On April 22, terrorists opened fire on tourists in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam. 26 people were killed and several others injured in the attack. The Resistance Front, a proxy of Pakistan-based terrorist group Lashkar-e-Taiba, had claimed responsibility for the attack. And look at the pattern of the attack. The terrorists asked the religious identity of the victims and singled out Hindus before killing them. It's all hatred. The masterminds were sitting in Pakistan. And 15 days after the attack, the perpetrators were brought to justice. India launched Operation Sindoor on May 7. More than 80 terrorists linked to banned outfits, Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed and Hizbul Mujahideen were killed in precision strikes. The military action was measured and the targets were selected based on credible intel. Let's listen to India's Foreign Secretary.
India exercised its right to respond and preempt as well as deter more such cross-border attacks. These actions were measured, non-escalatory, proportionate, and responsible. They focused on dismantling the terrorist infrastructure and disabling terrorists likely to be sent across to India. It was deemed essential that the perpetrators and planners of the 22nd April attack be brought to justice. Despite a fortnight having passed since the attacks, there has been no demonstrable step from Pakistan to take action against the terrorist infrastructure on its territory or on territory under its control. Instead, all it has indulged in are denials and allegations.
So who are these terrorist groups that India targeted? Let's talk about the terror factories of Pakistan. Lashkar-e-Taiba, or LET. This is one of the deadliest Pakistan-based terrorist organizations. Founded around 1990 by Hafiz Muhammad Saeed, Lashkar-e-Taiba is based in Muridke, near Lahore, in Pakistan's Punjab province. It began as an extremist Islamist group with the aim of waging jihad, especially in Jammu and Kashmir. Over the years, LET has expanded its terror campaign across India. The group was responsible for some of the most horrifying terrorist attacks in Indian history. The 2001 Indian Parliament attack, the 2006 Mumbai serial train blasts, the 26/11 Mumbai terror attack, the Uri attack in 2016. The list is long. The Resistance Front, or TRF, that claimed the Pahalgam attack is also affiliated to LET. In the 2008 Mumbai terror attack, the attackers had trained in Markaz Taiba, Lashkar's main base in Muridke. This is the same location struck by Indian forces during Operation Sindoor. The United Nations Security Council has listed Lashkar-e-Taiba as a terrorist organization. But what does Pakistan do? Nothing. Because Lashkar-e-Taiba is part of Pakistan's terror playbook. It is backed by its army and guided by the ISI. Despite the ban, LET leadership, including Hafiz Saeed, operated for years with little consequence in Pakistan. He was arrested in 2019 and sentenced for terror financing, but this is just an eyewash. His network continues to thrive under different names, often disguised as charities like Jamaat-ud-Dawa. Now let's talk about Jaish-e-Mohammed, or JEM. This terrorist group was founded in the year 2000 by Masood Azhar. He was released from an Indian prison in exchange for the hijacked passengers of the plane IC-814 in 1999. Soon after his release, Azhar launched JEM with backing from Taliban and Al-Qaeda linked networks. The group is based in Bahawalpur, also in Pakistan's Punjab province. JEM was quickly banned in 2002 after its name came up in the 2001 Indian Parliament attack, along with Lashkar-e-Taiba. But like Lashkar, the group continues to operate under new names and disguises. JEM's most deadly recent attack was the Pulwama suicide bombing in 2019. A JEM terrorist drove an explosives-filled car into a convoy of Indian paramilitary forces, killing 40 soldiers in Jammu and Kashmir's Pulwama. According to Indian intelligence, Markaz Subhan Allah in Bahawalpur serves as JEM's headquarters. That's the exact site Indian forces hit in Operation Sindoor. According to reports, Maulana Masood Azhar acknowledged on Wednesday that 10 members of his family and 4 close associates were killed in India's missile attack on the outfit's headquarters in Bahawalpur. Despite being sanctioned by the United Nations Security Council and even listed as a terrorist group by the US, JEM still has the space to operate openly in Pakistan. These terrorist groups do not just carry guns. They run religious schools, training camps, and charities. All of these are used to brainwash young minds. Poor and vulnerable boys are told they're fighting a holy war. They are filled with hatred, radicalized, and turned into suicide bombers. And the fingerprints are clear. Pakistan is not just a host. It is the architect of this entire terror infrastructure. It gives shelter, it gives weapons, it gives training, and then pretends it is innocent. It's time the world stopped buying Pakistan's lie.
Let's very quickly recap for our viewers what has happened, ladies and gentlemen. At this moment, at around 1:44 a.m. this morning, on the morning of 7th May, India has hit back at Pakistan terror infrastructure. 9 precision strikes have taken place inside the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, and also at least one city, Bahawalpur in Punjab province of Pakistan. 9 sites have been targeted. There are reports of Muridke and some other areas also being targeted. But at this moment, what we can tell our viewers with confirmation is that 3 of these cities, Kotli, Muzaffarabad and Bahawalpur, have been hit back. India has hit back on Pakistani terror infrastructure. No civilian areas or army complex have been hit in Pakistan. Shiv continues to be with me at this moment. Shiv, there will be a heightened sense, as far as India is concerned. While the Indian army says justice is served, the important work begins now, because Pakistan has been, in fact, threatening, has been posturing for Pakistan right now. It all depends on where we go from here on the escalatory ladder.
Very, very correct, Ankit. These initial moments are going to be the most critical, the most crucial, the most tense, because Pakistan at this point of time, while the world is flooded with images of the Indian missile strikes, will, in typical playbook fashion, look to impose some kind of a visible retaliation, whether at the LOC or in some other part of India. What they choose to try and target is not clear just now. What we do know is that they've already started flooding in a great deal of misinformation about two Indian jets being shot down, or the Srinagar base being bombed. They're using old footage to suggest damage has already been caused, etc. So we've got to be very, very careful at this point of time. The confirmation coming in from the other side, of course, is that 3 Pakistani cities in POK have been hit. Murid K in Pakistani Punjab has also been hit. There's a confirmation of that, though that has not been named. Neither of the other cities named by the Indian side. We're also getting information, Ankit. You'll get that breaking piece of information in just a short moment from now. I've just put it out into the system of the weapons that India very likely used for this attack. We've got a big level of detail here that the missile strikes were likely carried out by the Indian Air Force. It was the Indian Army that announced Operation Sindoor. Very importantly, the Indian Air Force has not put out a statement just yet, Ankit. So possibly a joint operation by the Indian Army and the Air Force, but the missiles that were fired into Pakistan from Indian airspace were very likely from the Indian Air Force. Were they Rafales used? Given the weapons that we're hearing, which you'll have on your screen as a matter of detail and a breaking story in just a moment from now, it's very likely that the Rafales were used for this attack, Ankit.
Absolutely, and this is precisely, of course, we know how important it was for India to get the Rafale fighter jets in its arsenal, and they have been, in fact, put to use most likely as far as this strike is concerned. As Shiv was talking about the important information that he has put out, ladies and gentlemen, let me very quickly tell you, Indian missile strikes, as Shiv was saying, likely from the Scalp cruise missiles and Hammer standoff smart bombs. Shiv, just explain to our viewers a little further, what are these weapons? How do they, in fact, react? Because, we have seen that these are very precise targets which have been, in fact, has been hit by Indian Air Force and the Indian Army.
These targets, Ankit, we've also got details. I'm going to tell you about the weapons that we're hearing have been used, but I quickly want to read out, of a confirmed confirmation list of the cities that have been struck and the targets that have been struck in these missile strikes as part of Operation Sindoor. Murid Ke, Bahawalpur, these are the 2 headquarters of the Lashkar-e-Taiba and the Jaish-e-Mohammed. At least 2 targets we're hearing from Muzaffarabad, Gulpur, Bhimber, Chakamru, Kotli, and a camp near the city of Sialkot. So remember, Sialkot and Murid Ke are in Pakistan, Ankit, and the remaining are in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Our sources are telling us, and once again, this is a disclaimer, that information coming in is unofficial at this time until we have a press conference from the Air Force or the Army, which will happen after sunrise today, and we'll be live on that. But it is very likely, sources indicating that this was an aerial strike, except, Ankit, that this time, unlike during the Balakot strikes, Indian Air Force fighters did not need to cross into POK. They stayed within Indian airspace and launched their weapons. It is very, very likely, the indications are very, very strong that India used its Rafale fighters to fire Scalp long-range cruise missiles, as well as standoff precision strike Hammer bombs. These are air-to-surface bombs to conduct these strikes. Now, which of these weapons struck which target, once again, would be getting into the realm of speculation at this point of time. But at this time, across those 9 places and targets that I've just described, there are videos coming in, open source videos by civilians on their mobile phones, flooding the internet. That's something that Pakistan simply cannot stop. There will be a great deal of information from their side, but the one thing they have no control over is a civilian population with access to the internet, cheap data, and a mobile phone, which is a speciality that we have here in our subcontinent. So many of those videos already going hugely viral all across social media. So Murid Ke and Bahawalpur are the 2 big ones, Ankit. The remaining ones are also big because of the terror infrastructure, but Murid Ke and Bahawalpur are basically the mothership of Pakistani terror, the Jaish-e-Mohammed and the Lashkar-e-Taiba.
When we speak about hitting Pakistan terror infrastructure right at its heart, as Shiv was telling us, Muridke and Bahawalpur are those 2 pain points that is going to, in fact, hit and dismantle at least the Pakistani terror infrastructure. These are the headquarters of the Pakistan perpetrated terror, not just against India, but whatever they export all across the globe. Vishnu Shom has more details as well. Vishnu, over to you. Go ahead.
Well, the little bit of information that we do have in this case, and I'm also able to pick up from my sources the use of weaponry. I've been told that the Scalp missile is something which was likely used by the Indian Air Force. Shiv, our sources also indicating that perhaps the hammer was used. It's just in terms of the Scalp itself, it's a weapon system which was integrated with the Rafale aircraft upon delivery. Rafale fires this. It's an extremely precise, long-range cruise missile. It operates of GPS coordinates which are fed into the target. A variant of this missile has been used in the Ukraine war itself. It's used to hit targets with extreme precision. There have been a number of targets which have been hit. The target package is fairly substantial this time. The Hammer missile, also something which has been integrated certainly into the Rafale, but it's been tested on other aircraft, including the Tejas as well. It's something which can rely on GPS, global positioning system guidance, or it can be manually guided onto its target as well with a pilot in the loop. These are both designed to hit targets very, very accurately and to ensure that there is no collateral damage or minimal collateral damage that does take place. As Shiv was mentioning, and this is important, unlike in the case of the Balakot attack, where Indian fighter jets had to cross the line of control in order to attempt to strike the target. On this particular occasion, the weapon in question, the Scalp, has the range to be lobbed or fired from Indian territory, and then it proceeds and hits its target. So several terror attacks, as we've been reporting, Muridke, Bahawalpur are the big ones, which have always been known as terror centers of the Pakistani establishment. These 2 targets are in Muzaffarabad, 2 targets in Muzaffarabad, Gulpur, Bhimber, Chakamru, and Kotli, also camp near Sialkot. These are the initial details that we have at this juncture. There are all sorts of reports and rumors coming in of the nature of the Pakistani counteroffensive. We aren't getting into that at this stage because we just don't know if it's true. Irrespective, the Pakistani Prime Minister has responded, and he said that Pakistan is looking to sort of respond to this. And there have been statements which have been made by the Pakistani Foreign Minister as well, where they are saying that they've condemned the attack, etc., etc., that their sovereignty has been violated, and that several centers have been struck, and that they retain the right to hit targets. Pakistan also says that this is an act of aggression that's caused a grave threat to commercial air traffic. I can tell you that I spotted at least 5 to 6 flights over at Pakistan about an hour and a half back, and these aircraft were forced to divert as well. I think at this juncture, there are some reports which could be credible which suggest that all of Pakistani airspace has been shut off for civilian airspace, for civilian flight movement.
Absolutely.
I think that's what I have so far. Go ahead.
Thanks. As Vishnu was pointing out, I just want to, because, largely, as we have been speaking about, Pakistan will, every information that will come from the Pakistani establishment will be rolled into a lot of propaganda. But one thing that the Pakistani Foreign Ministry statement does confirm, as we are breaking it here on NDTV, confirmed from our sources within the Indian government, and everything, ladies and gentlemen, every word that you are seeing on your screens, every word that we are putting out on air at this moment, all me and my colleagues, it has all been verified, fact-checked, and only then is being put out for your information. One thing is been clear as we were breaking it. Murid K has been hit. This has been confirmed now by the Pakistani Ministry of Foreign Affairs statement as well. Murid K, Bawalpur, and Kotli and Muzaffarabad in Azad Kashmir, as Pakistan likes to call it, the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, have been hit by India. So we can confirm, Shiv, that the head of the terror snake, Bawalpur, Murid K, have been hit. This is as deep as India has hit the terror infrastructure of Pakistan ever.
You know, Bawalpur and Muridke doesn't get bigger than that, Ankit. You're absolutely right. They are in many ways equivalent of hitting a large Pakistani military establishment, even though India has made it 100% clear that this was an act of restraint by India, given the scale of the butchery conducted by Pakistani terror groups. India has emphasized that this was non-escalatory. They've emphasized that Pakistani military establishments have not been hit. But I have to say that hitting Bahawalpur, the seminaries of Hafiz Muhammad Saeed and Maulana Masood Azhar, it doesn't get bigger than that in terms of high-value targets of the Pakistan military's extension and its terrorist divisions. Now, the Lashkar-e-Taiba and the Jaish-e-Mohammed are the two principal Pakistani terror groups that have bled India, targeted India, whether it is 2611, whether it is Pathankot, and most certainly in Pahalgam 2 weeks ago. Now, who has suffered damage precisely beyond just these faceless organizations? But the precise terrorists who've been targeted is not known just yet, and that's going to be, Ankit, a tantalizing detail. There's a lot of speculation right now over whether this was a targeted attack on a location where one of these high-value terrorist masterminds may have been there. I would be skeptical at this point of time about reporting or confirming any of that because there is no such information, to suggest that that may be the case, especially since post-Pahalgam, Pakistan's terrorist playbook would suggest that any high-value target would be removed from those cities like Bahawalpur and Muridke and shifted to much more officially protected areas like Rawalpindi, Karachi, Islamabad, etc. So we don't have a confirmation on that. It is possible that some high-value targets have been decimated and killed in these missile strikes, but we will await a confirmation on that. Here in Srinagar, Ankit, I can also sense a great deal of activity. We will not be reporting any operational details of aircraft in the air or drones in the air. I can see a lot of irresponsible reporting by many media talking about helicopter movements, etc. We won't be doing that here on NDTV. We'll be keeping a very close watch on authentic information as this Operation Sindoor unfolds.
Any word that we put out here on NDTV, as Shiv and all my colleagues have been saying, will be verified, vetted, fact-checked, and only then would be presented to our viewers. There is important information which is also coming in at this moment. Confirmation from the Indian Embassy in Washington of the conversation that NSA Doval has had with the Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Ghazali, just take our viewers through the statement which has been put out by the embassy, Indian Embassy in Washington.
Yeah, a very detailed statement, Ankit, which clearly connects Pakistan terror and the Pahalgam attack for the first time, where it says that India had credible leads, technical inputs, testimony of the survivors, and other evidence pointing towards the clear involvement of Pakistan-based terrorists in the attack. And it was expected, India says that it was expected that Pakistan would take action against terrorists and the infrastructure that supports them. Instead, during the fortnight of the that has gone by, Pakistan has indulged in denial and made allegations of false flag operations against India. And that is why India's actions have been focused and precise. They were measured, responsible, and designed to be non-escalatory in nature. No Pakistani civilian, economic, or military targets have been hit. Only known terror camps were targeted, And after the attack, NSA Shri Ajit Doval spoke with US NSA and Secretary of State Marco Rubio and briefed him on the actions taken. So a very detailed statement clearly stating that how for the Pahalgam terror attack, it was the terrorists who were backed by Pakistan, and despite alerting Pakistan about their involvement, no clear action was taken. Rather, Pakistan took to ceasefire violation, which Shiv has been reporting for a fortnight by now, and that is why India had to retaliate, and it didn't target any civilian or military installations. No civilians were harmed in this attack, but only terror hideouts were hit by this aerial strike.
Even more alarming. Ladies and gentlemen, we were informed today that after Pakistan carried out these drone attacks on India, naturally they were anticipating a major Indian military or Air Force response or Navy response, and hence to protect themselves, they decided to open up their airspace, allow civilian planes to fly, and by allowing these civilian planes to fly from different locations, they were hoping for a situation that if India attacked, then a heat-seeking missile from India would perhaps end up going and targeting a civilian plane flying over the Pakistani airspace. What this means is that the Pakistanis were using civilian aircraft as shields to protect themselves against a possible major counter-attack by India. The proof of this, ladies and gentlemen, is in the detail of this one plane, which is an Airbus 320 of Flynas Aviation, which is a Saudi budget carrier, which originated from Dammam at 5:50 p.m. and landed in Lahore at 21:10 hours, that's 10 minutes after 9 in the night. And the Indian Air Force got to know about this. We got to know that there were these civilian aircraft that were flying, and this data was coordinated, and it was checked and corroborated through Flight Radar 24. Any of you can also go online and check this. So basically, this has never happened before, that a country and a country's army uses a civilian aircraft as a shield. It could have been a very, very dangerous situation, because despite anticipating a potential Indian response, Pakistan chose not to close its airspace, endangered civilian lives, and wanted to create a situation where the Indian Air Force could be accused of bringing down a civilian plane. This is how demonic the thoughts of Pakistan are. This is how desperate Pakistan is at the present time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very serious and evolving situation. As I bring you this broadcast, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi is having a very big meeting once again tonight with the Chief of Defence Staff, all the 3 service chiefs, and the National Security Advisor. Is something cooking? Certainly it is. Is Operation Sindoor over? Absolutely. Absolutely it's not.
Sirens sounded in Jammu on Thursday night as Pakistan targeted over 24 cities along the western border.
The 16th Corps of the Indian Army, that is White Knight Corps, that looks after the counterinsurgency operation and the line of control in the Jammu region. Their headquarters was also targeted by the drones that came from across the border, but both the threats have been neutralized. Apart from this, we are told that a total of 8 threats that were there at the Rajouri base, that has also been neutralized. All the bases have been secured.
Pakistan firing 400 to 500 armed Turkish Songar drones towards India. The targets chosen were military establishments.
अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सीमा और नियंत्रण रेखा पर लेह से लेकर सरक्रीक तक 36 स्थानों पर 300 से 400 लगभग ड्रोनों का इस्तेमाल घुसपैठ का प्रयास करने के लिए किया गया। ड्रोन के मलबे की फोरेंसिक जांच की जा रही है। प्रारंभिक रिपोर्ट से पता चलता है कि वे तुर्की के असीस गार्ड सोंगर ड्रोन्स हैं।
As our air defense systems were activated, Pakistan attempted something that has shocked all civilized nations. Using this Airbus 320 as a human shield in the air, Their ploy failed.
Pakistan's irresponsible behavior again came to fore. Pakistan did not close its civil airspace despite it launching a failed unprovoked drone and missile attack on 7th May at 8:30 hours in the evening. Pakistan is using civil airliners as a shield, knowing fully well that its attack on India would elicit a swift air defense response. This is not safe for the unsuspecting civil airliners, including the international flights.
India has struck Pakistan hard in its response. Our targets chosen were 4 air bases that were used to launch the drone strikes.
Armed drones were launched at 4 air defense sites in Pakistan. One of the drones was able to destroy an AD radar. Pakistan also carried out artillery shelling across the line of control using heavy caliber artillery guns and armed drones at Kandahar, Uri, Poonch, Mendhar, Rajouri, Akhnur, and Udhampur in Jammu and Kashmir area.
From targeting civilians and religious institutions to using an international flight as a human shield, Pakistan has stooped to an all-time low.
We have seen the Pakistani side targeting and shelling places of worship with a particular design. This includes gurdwaras, these convents and temples. This is a new low even for Pakistan.
From Hoshiarpur to Kutch to Bathinda, the proof of Pakistan's misadventure is there for the world to see. Operation Sindoor continues.
Hello and welcome to our special coverage as we track the developments between India and Pakistan. The situation continues to escalate and we've been tracking all of it for you here. Pakistan has ignored India's warnings. It has decided to provoke. In fact, they're provoking and escalating this conflict. The Pakistanis launched a major air attack on India's western frontier today. They're also moving troops into forward positions. All these moves make one thing very clear. Tensions are rising rapidly. They're at the highest level since the Kargil War. Tensions between India and Pakistan, the highest since the Kargil War. Yet Pakistan is not displaying restraint. They're provoking India again. After midnight, Pakistan fired a barrage of weapons at Indian military and civilian sites. They used long-range projectiles, loitering munitions, aircraft and jets, and unmanned combat vehicles. Like I said, it was a massive aerial attack on India. Pakistan tried to infiltrate at least 26 different places. Most of these weapons were neutralized, but the military did admit some damages and injuries at 5 bases. That's Udhampur, Pathankot, Adampur, Bhuj, and Bathinda. In response, India has struck back. India targeted Pakistani bases with precision strikes. 6 sites were hit across the border. These include Rafiki, Chaklala, Murid, Rahim Yar Khan, and Chunian in Punjab, and also the Sukur base in Punjab. These are located near major Pakistani cities. Chaklala, for example, is located in Rawalpindi, which is where the military headquarters of Pakistan are. India targeted specific targets inside these military bases in Pakistan, like command controls, weapons depots, and air defense radars. India also said that minimum collateral damage was ensured in our strikes. Pakistan has given a code name for its operation, Operation Banyan al-Marsus. It's a verse picked from the Quran. It basically means a firm and compact structure. The only thing firm and compact was India's response, though. Take a look at this strike on the base near Rawalpindi.
Oh, shit.
After the attack, Pakistan's military held a press conference. A spokesperson said that Pakistan would finish what India started.
We are prepared for any eventuality, whatever they may do. It's their choice. I told you before, whatever they may do, we are prepared for any eventuality. They want to continue it, fine. But what they have started, I'll tell you, we'll finish it.
Except India did not start it. The starting point was the Pahalgam terrorist attack in India's Kashmir. India has repeatedly issued the same warning to Pakistan: if you do not escalate, neither will we. Today, the military reiterated that offer.
Indian armed forces remain in a high state of operational readiness. All hostile actions have been effectively countered and responded appropriately. Indian armed forces reiterate their commitment to non-escalation, provided it is reciprocated by the Pakistan military.